Hello and welcome to the Next Gen Racing YouTube channel for our weekend preview and our first video of 2023. And we've got Sandown to look forward to. Jack and I are going to be looking at 3 races from Sandown, along with Naas on Sunday for the Grade 1 there. And we'll also give a couple of other selections. We've got the Meydan meeting that's actually happening today at the time of this recording going out. So if you do get the chance to get on early, then hopefully Jack and I can find a couple of winners there. First of all, Jack, how was your Christmas and Happy New Year to you?
Yeah, Happy New Year to you too. It was absolutely brilliant, tell you what. Brave Man's Game won the King George, had a good time at the old pram race that we were talking about, and yeah, had a good time giving gifts. So yeah, there we go.
Yeah, Jack was at the pram race and I was there at Fontwell Park on Boxing Day. And great to see good friend of the channel, Niall Houlihan, ride a double there at Fontwell. An exciting horse in the first race as well, Gavega, who looks a really nice type, especially when the ground gets really soft. And the Desert Orchid chase for Niall Houlihan at Kempton the following day. He won aboard Editor de Gite, Jack, a horse that I can never seem to get right. I was waiting for this horse to turn up in a handicap off a lovely mark and back this horse off a cliff. I've been backing this horse, and I didn't expect this horse to go and win a Grade 2 like that.
No, it was really impressive, wasn't it? I mean, I seemed to get him wrong. He didn't go from the front at Cheltenham. I think it was in October, and I was absolutely fuming because I really fancied him. Of course, he ran an absolute cracker win fourth in the Grand Annual. Remember last year, you were actually touting him up for the champion chase each way. So, funnily enough, you're a year too early, but there we go.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was. Look, we'll see where this horse actually goes. Whether this horse actually does take a chance in champion chase, or once again goes for the Grand Annual. The horse is going to want some better ground than it was last year, I'm sure. So we're in the new year, Jack. I'm sure you've got your own personal New Year's resolutions, but let's have a couple of wishes for the new year. A couple of wishes within racing that you'd love to see happen this year.
The first one would be a Hoy Senior to win a Grade 1, preferably the Gold Cup. But he has bundles of ability and no one seems to see it. He jumped a lot straighter at Kempton. Kempton's not his track. Perhaps he preferred going right-handed. But, I mean, he had a horrible head carriage. He was very keen. He was hanging all over the place. The one thing that I think's weird for him compared to last year was last year he saw out his races really well, whether it was in the RSA, whether it was at Aintree. This year he travels like a dream, but he hasn't quite seen out anything. I mean, he went odds on in the Charlie Hall and the Many Clouds, and he was 4-1 to win the King George in play. So, I mean, it'd be interesting to see if he does actually stay on that spring ground, which we know he loves. But he's going to win a Grade 1 this year, and he's going to prove everyone wrong.
Okay, Hoy Senior. Is that just that's the main one? Have you got another?
Oh, yeah. Langer Dan. He needs to win a big one. If it's Martin Pipe Justice, I'd be very happy. But he needs to win a big one, and let's hope it's in the Martin Pipe, eh?
So good to see you write that on the side of the darts as well for the final the other day. And that was, you were there actually for the Michael Smith Van Gogh final. How was that? What a darts match that was.
Yeah, I mean, as sporting moments go, being there for the 9 darter was up there with probably one of the top 5 that I've witnessed in the flesh. So, I mean, yeah, it was quite some moment. I mean, there was beer going everywhere and whatnot. But, yeah, some crowd the Ali Pali is.
And Wayne Mardle couldn't speak on the day. It's some bit of commentary, that really is. Look, this year, I mean, let's talk about 1 over jumps. Do you know what I'd love to see this year would be David Maxwell to have a Cheltenham Festival winner. I think a load of people would love to see that. He invests so much into the game. He's a great character. And I'd love to see him most likely have a strong chance in the Fox Hunters once again this year. And look, the flat one, a lot of people may hate it because they think this jockey might be milking the whole of his retirement, but it's Frankie Dettori retirement, and what I'd love to see is him win in multiple countries and potentially a range of courses. Now, my aim this year is that I'm going to be going out to France to see him ride. I'm going to go to Italy, hopefully, to see him ride. I'm going to go to Ireland. I'm going to watch him in the UK, and then I'll be flying over to the Breeders' Cup. So hopefully, I'll see Frankie ride in multiple different countries. I'm not sure if I'll get to Germany, although I'd like to do Germany. A lot of people have said that I should go out there for one of their tracks. I know the blogger did it last year and it looked fantastic. So that'll be on the bucket list as well. So a couple of New Year's wishes. Let's see if some of those could come true. But we'll get into the racing this weekend. It actually feels like a while since we've actually done a weekend preview. I mean, we had our Christmas preview just before Christmas, but a singular weekend preview, it feels like a long time. So we've got 4 races. We'll start off with the 1240 at Sandown, which is a listed mares hurdle over 2.5 miles. Betting currently looks like this. Love Envoy is the 4-9 on favourite. We've got Martello Sky 9-4. Is it Fontenet? God, I struggle with the French pronunciation. 12-1. Branson Missouri 50-1, and Ballycan Fame is 100-1. Ah, good. We start off the new year with a difficult name. Brilliant. But look, this is going to go probably the way of Love Envoi, Jack. I mean, it's obvious to say that. I mean, I know you're a big fan of Martello Sky. She's come up against two, look, just better mares than her, really, the last twice, and potentially is just going to run into one once again.
Yeah, I don't actually think Martello Sky is all that. I mean, last year, I think she had a really good season. This year, she hasn't really been firing whatsoever. I mean, that being behind Miranda and just beating Molly Ollie's Wishes, Miranda didn't go and bolster that form whatsoever at Kempton, and then of course was second to Molly Ollie's Wishes at Weatherby on a penultimate outing this term. It doesn't look like she's quite the force that she was last year. I think this is probably the old cliche of penalty kick. This is probably one of the definitions of, would I be taking 4-1 on about Constitution Hill for the Champion Hurdle, or would I be taking 9-4 on about Love Envoi for this? I'd be taking this every day of the week and twice on a Sunday. Last time out at Sandown in the handicap over 2 miles. I didn't think 2 miles was going to suit. I thought it would be a bit sharp but I mean, the form of that race has worked out quite well. Playful Saint has gone on to win since Nayati, who I really fancy, then went on to win this weekend. But I think stepping up to 2.5 mile, we got soft ground at the moment. There's definitely rain forecast. She's a great jumper, isn't she? She showed that at Sandown last time out. She's a very good battler, and hopefully she'll be able to show her Mayor's Hurdle credentials here. I'm not too sure she's going to win the Mayor's Hurdle. I think Marie's Rock put in an absolute cracker at the rail kill. But anyway, that's for another day. But no, I think Love Envoi is the one to beat. The only one that I think probably could actually get the better of her. I know Martello Sky won this last year, but Fortinet, what a fascinating candidate. Came over, one run in Britain in the Grade 1, was pulled up as a juvenile, made 3 mistakes at hurdles, pulled up before the 4th. Goodness me, Venetia Williams can get them to improve, so it'll be interesting to see how she takes a step up as a 5-year-old. But look, Love Envoi is clearly the one to beat, and I think she'll win this in good style.
Yeah, certainly. As you mentioned, quite a few from that handicap. They come out of one. I think Hermes Boy actually came out and won just the other day as well. He was 4th in that race at Sandown. We were there that day. Look, Jack's made the case there. It's a very short price, not one that you're going to be backing. I'd again look, Martello Sky. It wouldn't actually even be a bet without the favourite, in my opinion. Like Jack says, Fortinet could be really interesting. Could show major improvement as a 5-year-old, and could even be the danger to Love Envoi. So look, it's a race. It's going to be a no bet race. But looking, seeing Love Envoi over 2.5 here, and potentially put her Mayor's Hurdle credentials to the line. Let's move on then to the big Grade 1 at Sandown, which is the 225. It's the 2 mile Unibet Tolworth Novices Hurdle, Grade 1. This is for the novices, and Tamuras is the 2-1 favourite for the Nichols team. Authorised Speed for the mighty Gary Moore team, 9-4. Arctic Brezel for Henry de Bromhead, the Irish bringing this one over 100-30. Then we got a big jump to the 18-1 Lastro Boy, Nameen Lion 20-1, and bigger the other 3. A lot of people would probably expect me to be with the Gary Moore horse here, and look, I would love to see this horse win. Of course I would. I'm a big fan of the yard, but I've got to go with my head here, and I've mentioned this horse to you before, Jack, and I mentioned you right at the start of the season, but Arctic Brezel here, I find a really good bet at 130. I think this is a good price, actually. Rachel Blackmore's going to be coming over. Exciting to see her over at Sandown. But this horse, look, winning at Cork last time, just in December, and beat a horse called Mercury. Now, Mercury was a horse I actually had written down as a Ballymore type. Like, I was certain this horse could be really a strong selection for the Ballymore going forward this year. But this horse here came out and did this in really good style, and probably could have shown a lot more on the day as well. Look, as these novices, you never know how much is going to come run from run, and Authorised Speed. Look, this horse put in a good display at Sandown, but absolutely clattered the last. God knows how Jamie Moore stayed aboard that horse there. And look, Tamura being the favourite here, I can kind of get it. The form of that last race has worked out quite well. The race at Haydock in November, but I would like to be taking it on with this Arctic Brezel. I just think Henry de Bromhead's sending this over for a reason. He obviously sees this as a potential weak Grade 1. And look, I could see this horse going on to, I wouldn't say the Supreme. I think this horse could be made for a Ballymore. It's just whether they go off quick enough here to set it up for a horse like Arctic Brezel. That might be your only worry. But I'm going to be with the Irish here, Jack. 100-30 Arctic Brezel. Yourself?
Yeah, so I mean, I actually think, even though Lucia has been pulled out and whatnot, I actually think it's quite a fascinating renewal, and I wouldn't be surprised if something does stamp its authority kind of in and amidst some of the best novices that we have in either the Supreme or Ballymore divisions. Tomiras is probably the best jumper of the lot as a novice. He gives it quite a bit of air over his hurdles, but I mean, he's pretty consistent over them. You look at authorised speed, clattering the last. Arctic Brazil went through the second last time out, and also I think the fourth obstacle, but showed a better turn of foot than I was expecting. As you said, I thought he'd probably be a 2.5 miler, but he looked like he definitely had enough pace for 2 mile. Hence, of course, why they're coming here when beating Mercury. Mercury clearly wasn't right that day, but still put up an all right time and a decent last sectional as well. But I wouldn't be surprised if Lastro Boy takes a step forward as well, who of course beat Tomiras in a bumper. And if you watch that, they were both travelling equally as well. And the one thing with Tomiras is he has taken a step forward every single run. He got a little bit tapped for toe, but then went straight back on the bridle around the home turn last time out and showed a decent turn of foot. I think over 2.5 mile, he'd be able to handle it as well. But Lastro Boy last time out, jumped okay, jumped horribly right and wandered around after the last time out of Foss last. Showed a little bit of signs of inexperience, but stretched away in good style, and both in the bumper and last time in his win. He hit the line with such conviction. I think he's going to be hitting the line again. One thing I love is his knee action. I mean, he's got a lovely galloping style. I mean, he's a galloper. If there's lots of rain, I think he's going to shorten to probably 5-6 to 1 here, because he's going to absolutely love it. I mean, it was soft, heavy in places when he beat Tomiras, and I think Lastro Boy could actually take a step forward. You've got the Arctic Brazil factor in there. I'm not a fan of authorised speed, it has to be said. He's still got an engine, but has a lot to learn over his obstacles, and I do think Lastro Boy could put in a decent run at around 12-14 to 1.
Yeah, no, I agreed. I don't think that's a bad each way shot at all. And look, you've got the 8 runners at the moment, so you've got a dead 8 playing for 3 places, which is ideal here. I mean, in terms of the soft ground, I mean, we're expecting more rain. It's currently soft there at the moment, but more rain comes. We know what Sandown can get like. And I could imagine that Gary Moore wouldn't have minded having Gavega in here, who won on Boxing Day. They described the ground as quite quick at Fontwell on Boxing Day, and said that this horse would appreciate soft ground. So I would have actually probably given that horse a chance in here if this turned up. But yeah, I agree with Jack that authorised speed. It's just I haven't been a massive fan of this horse. I really haven't. I'd love to see it win. It'd be great for the connections, and I know the owner had done quite a lot for Josh Moore whilst he was in hospital as well with regards to lending a helicopter, so it would be a lovely story. But I'm going to be with Arctic Brazil, Henry de Bromhead to take out the Tolworth, and Jack with an each way shout there, Lastro Boy for the Evan Williams team. Moving on to the final race we're going to be looking at from Sandown, which is the Veterans Handicap Chase, 3 miles here, a Class 2 event, and this is always, I love seeing these vets pinging fences round Sandown. Ramsey de Ty 11-2, Snow Leopardess 13-2, Prime Venture 8-1, St Xavier's 17-2, Kustar Civila 10-1, Ballyandy 12-1, and 14-1. But these, Jack, you can go first here. Who do you like?
I absolutely hate these veterans races. I know I say this to you time and time again. You love them, so I know this
is that from a betting prospect or is that from a viewing prospect?
Probably a bit of both, if I'm being honest.
Really?
Mostly from a punting prospect. I don't really like getting too stuck into veterans races, so I'll keep it short and sweet. Don't have a punting opinion, but I'd love to see Kustar Civila, the ultimate winner, come back after a big break. Of course, finished 5th last time out at Haydock, off a mark of just 127. Look, it'd be interesting to see if he can bounce back. But other than that, I think I'll just be sitting back and watching.
Wow, okay. Well, you might be in luck then, because Kustar Civila, I think, could end up winning this race. Actually, I'm going to go back to the form from 2018 at Sandown Racecourse, which was, I think it was like an intermediate chase where Elegant Escape beat Kustar Civila, who was back in 3rd in a 4-runner listed event there back in November 2018. And look, there, Kustar Civila's 10-1, Elegant Escape is 20-1 here. Elegant Escape's an interesting one, obviously a former Welsh national winner. Should love it if it gets fairly soft, and I think this horse could show staying power. Harry Cobden on board, but Kustar Civila, this horse now switched from Nick Williams to Venetia Williams, has dropped right down the weights. If this horse can't win a race like this of 127, I'd be absolutely shocked. You've got some of your old favourites in here, Cross Park, Ballyandy, Snow Leopardess. A lot of people have said that this horse here could be a Grand National type. I'm not quite there, but I think she's a beautiful horse. But look, it's not one that I'd be taking. But yeah, I'm going to take Kustar Civila. Jack's there just hoping Kustar Civila wins. I'll be really wanting Kustar Civila to win. But I may play the forecast with Elegant Escape on the day for some big money. Are you going to have another opinion there, Jack? Or?
No, not at all. My opinion is I don't think it's a very good race. Move on.
Wow, okay, there we go. Let's move on to Sunday then, shall we? Over to Ireland, where we'll look at the Grade 1 there, which is the Lawlors of Naas Novices Hurdle. The betting looks like this. Grangeclare West is 5-4. Gaelic Warrior is 9-4. I Know the Way You're Thinking, 5-1. Irish Point, 5-1. Champ Kylie and Dawn Rising, 7-1. Double Figures Bar. This is the 220 there at Naas, 2.5 miles. Grade 1. Jack, Willie Mullins got plenty of entries. We're probably expecting the favourite, Grangeclare West, to turn up here and probably win it.
I'm not convinced about Grangeclare West just yet. I think he may want 3 miles. Look, he was very impressive at Navan. It wasn't a bad time whatsoever. He won a point-to-point over 3 miles, of course. Won a bumper beating Salvador Ziggy by, 9 lengths. He's now rated 145. He clearly has the form in the book from his bumper. He's clearly very capable. I mean, he cost over 400 grand, didn't he, back in 2020? But I'm still not convinced with his jumping. I know it was a very weak renewal he won last time out. It was an all right time. Does it warrant 5-4? I'm not too sure. Could he take a step forward and win this very comfortably? Of course he could. Same can be said for Gaelic Warrior, the 5-year-old. Look, that form, I know a lot of people have said it. It's just not a very good piece of form, and I just don't think he's. I mean, he couldn't win a Boodles off whatever his mark was last year. I doubt he's going to be a solid Grade 1 horse this year. And the two that I quite like the look of, Irish Point, of course, was staying on second in the Royal Bond last time out. I just think it didn't quite have the turn of foot for 2 miles. I think 2.5 would probably suit a lot more. But also, Champ Kylie, I think, still overlooked. I know Willie Mullins might not actually send him here. But, I mean, I've been crying for a step back up to 2.5 miles. Of course, 1 over 2 mile 5 in a maiden at Galway, but then brushed aside Brazil and Habrisco. I know Habrisco was quite disappointing at Cheltenham. Next time out at Tipperary. And just things didn't go his way at a Fairy House. He tried to dictate. He was very free early doors, but then he just weakened. And I think the step up to 2.5 mile hopefully will suit. I mean, at one point I did think he was a Ballymore winner when he beat Brazil. I thought he looked beautiful. He jumped quite nice, showed a good turn of foot, and was going to be staying on. But no, hopefully Champ Kylie can take a step forward. I'll probably be taking a step back and watching it. Of course, we've got 3-card Bragg in there, who I can't wait to see over 3 miles. Could definitely be an Albert Bartlett type. But no, hopefully Champ Kylie can take all the beating here, and I'll be staying away from Grangeclare West.
Okay. If Champ Kylie turns up, that's who Jack will be with you. I agree with Gaelic Warrior. Just not a horse that I can be following at this moment in time. I mean, I don't know what that horse beat last time out. I know the horse won by 80 plus lengths, but not something that I'd be looking too much into. I agree. I think the favourite Grangeclare West will be looking for 3 miles. I'd be shocked if that's not an Albert Bartlett horse. The horse that I quite like is a horse called I Know the Way You're Thinking, which is the Gavin Cromwell horse owned by JP McManus. Now, this horse last time out won at Gowran Park and wasn't fluent. I think it was 3 out, or it was 2 out. It might have been 2 out. And just look, this horse just looked like it needed a step up in trip. I know this horse won over 2 miles, but everything for me screamed out this horse would want 2.5 miles. Beat a horse called Imagine and Spanish Harlem, who's also entered in this race. But if you go back prior to that, beat a horse in a maiden hurdle, beat a horse called Lots of Joy. Now this horse actually finished second by a horse called Deep Cove for Henry de Bromhead. I think Deep Cove could be a really nice prospect, so I don't think the form of that is too bad at all. I think Irish Point, I agree with Jack. I think Irish Point is fascinating because if you really rate that Marine Nationale form, then you've got to be fancying this horse here, in my opinion, over 2.5. There's something about the favourite that I just want to be taking on. I know a lot of people are going to be with this horse and probably going to be in a lot of multiples this weekend, but wouldn't be for me. So I'll side with I Know the Way You're Thinking, but I'd also be worried about Irish Point. So there we go. Jack and I siding away from the favourite in the Lawlors of Naas race. Now, from talking about some exciting maidens, let's talk about Meydan on Friday. I don't know if that's an awful link.
You've been waiting for that, haven't you? Goodness me, I love that.
That's a shocker. Well, I say tomorrow. At the time of film, it's tomorrow. But today we have Meydan, where we see the Dubai Carnival kick off. We've got plenty of Charlie Appleby runners and English runners and Irish runners represented over there. Some group events on the dirt and some exciting turf races there. Now, Jack, is there anything that you'll be paying attention to today at Meydan?
Yeah, Walk of Stars drops into a handicap. Can't quite believe that. I mean, he was third to he was third at
Deauville Legend.
Newmarket when I really fancied him, beaten a cumulative neck by Deauville Legend and Al Kareem. Then was fourth in the Great Voltage behind El Bodegon, who of course was third in the Cox Plate. Deauville Legend, who was fourth in the Melbourne Cup. It looks like a good bit of form. I know what has he got to carry? He's got quite a lot to carry off third top weight. He's got 9 stone 6, but William Buick's picked him. He's 2-1. It's not a luxurious price, but I'll be very surprised if he's not there or thereabouts. Back to a mile and a half. I think he'll probably take all the beating. And as well, the last race on the card, it's a listed sprint, but my word, it could be a Group 2, couldn't it? It's a cracking race. You've got Man and Promise, Lazuli, Cardam, Equilateral. The one who I'm not going to be backing, but has made me scratch my head so many times, is City Walk. He's 3 from 5 on the all-weather, but hasn't beaten a rival on the turf since April, when third in a Class 4 handicap. He absolutely loves the all-weather. I mean, he broke the course record at Chelmsford last time out, I think, over 6 furlongs when beating Digital. And he looked everything of a group performer there. But, I mean, on his penultimate run, he was last of 10 at York. And he's one to really get on hard to get on the right side of. Of course, this is on turf, so he's got plenty to prove on turf. But, I mean, he's shown such a turn of foot. He travels so strongly. He's a big sprinter. So it'll be interesting to see if he can actually transfer that form to turf, City Walk. But hopefully Walk of Stars goes in the first.
There we go. Okay, a couple of mentions there. Yeah, Jack with one of the, I think, 6 Godolphin horses in the first. You see all the caps come out to play when you go out to Meydan, different colours everywhere. I'm going to focus on a Group 2 on the dirt, and it's the 420, and a horse that Jack and I were actually discussing before Christmas, and we were hoping this horse would run and go and win for us. But it's a horse called Algier for the Simon and Ed Crisford team. James Doyle takes a ride, currently 9-2, actually been well supported. I saw 6-1 earlier today. This race is over a mile. Now, this horse was scheduled to run at Lingfield just before Christmas. This was at the time where Jack and I didn't have a preview out due to the frozen ground, and then in the end Lingfield ended up not going ahead because of a frozen surface as well. But this horse was second at Lingfield, what was it, back in November time, behind Miss the Cut. And I actually think the race with Harrovian, Bolshoi Ballet, Forest of Dean, Tyson Fury, look, I know it was just a listed event, it was the Churchill Stakes, but I kind of think that this race here may be to a similar level to that. I don't think it's all that great Group 2 event. So I think this horse could be taking this out. I know that the Christmas had this horse really well primed for that race before Christmas. So hoping that they have this horse as primed as they did then. And yep, 9-2. I'm going to be taking that in the 420 at Meydan today. So there we go. We kick off the new year with a few selections. There's probably not a Napa next best this weekend because we haven't covered many races. But Jack, if there was maybe just a best bet for you this weekend, what would it be?
Oh, it's a tricky one, isn't it? I'm going to go outside the box. I'm going to go Love Envoy at 4-9, Sam.
There we go. Jack hasn't got a best bet, basically. I'll put up Arctic Brazil in the Tolworth Hurdle at 225 at Sandown as my best bet this weekend. So there we go. That is the end of our first preview of this year. Jack and I, probably in a couple of weeks' time, will be announcing when our Cheltenham Festival preview will be, where it will be. Some of you guys, if you're local to us in the south, you'll be able to hopefully attend that, which will be fantastic. We're going to carry on with our anti-post series. I think that's likely our next episode. That will come out on the 16th of January. We'll bring that out the middle of the month. We've only got a couple left, I would have thought, until we end up getting into the actual festival preview itself. But look, it's going to be a fantastic year for myself and Jack. We're going to be covering everything from jumps to flat action. So we're looking forward to that. So like, subscribe, comment and share as always. And we will see you next week.